In a low defensive stance, locked in against Mitchell, the shot went up. A deep three from Kelsey Mitchell. The Fever's clash with the Sun was more than just another game. It felt like a turning point, a fork in the road for their season. What had been a year of setbacks and frustration suddenly carried new urgency. Sitting in the thick of the playoff race, Indiana had already burned through their margin for error after back-to-back losses to the Wings and Mystics, two teams trailing them in the standings. This night against Connecticut was supposed to be a response. Instead, the first half told a grim story. The offense sputtered, possession after possession. The Sun stretched the lead wider and wider, the scoreboard delivering a harsh reality. Indiana looked lifeless. Fans watching at home could feel the weight of it. Players on the bench wore the frustration across their faces. Every missed shot, every turnover piled on. And even though 9 games still remained after this one, it felt like the season itself was unraveling in front of their eyes.
The season was done.
But basketball has a funny way of flipping despair into pure drama. On this night, the Fever, and Kelsey Mitchell in particular, delivered a comeback that belongs in the record books. A rally so stunning that a month from now, we might look back and say this was the half that defined their season. For Caitlin Clark, it wasn't just another game. It felt like the moment everything shifted, a true turning point. And before diving into exactly how it all unfolded, I have to play this famous clip because it sets the stage for what came next.
To play this famous clip to set the stage.
This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win.
This legendary Herm Edwards line has lived on for decades. You play to win the game. It's simple, but it cuts straight to the core. No excuses. No matter the score, no matter the injuries, no matter how hopeless it looks, it's about winning. You show up and you fight. And I bring this up because in this game, the Fever had every reason to finally throw in the towel. It felt like someone out there had a voodoo doll with Indiana's name stitched across the front. Another key injury. This time, it was Sophie Cunningham. Mid-game, she went down in obvious pain, staying on the floor for several tense moments before being helped off by trainers. She couldn't put full weight on her leg, and the look on her face told the entire story. This wasn't a bump. This wasn't a bruise. This was serious. The timing couldn't have been worse. Already without Caitlin Clark. Already without Sydney Colson. Already without Ari McDonald. And now Sophie, one of their emotional leaders, their floor spacer, their spark plug, was sidelined. You could feel the frustration boiling over. This wasn't just bad luck anymore. It felt like a cruel pattern. A season where every time momentum started to build, something else got ripped away. And Sophie's family? They had seen enough. They went straight to social media, blasting the WNBA for poor officiating and a lack of player protection.
Blasting the WNBA for poor officiating and lack of player protection.
We got Sophie's sister Lindsay and her mom Paula. At WNBA, maybe you should focus less on fining players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are able to call a consistent game, protect your athletes. Pathetic. Praying for you, Sophie Cunningham. And Sophie's mother, Paula. Hartley is a disgruntled player having trouble everywhere she goes. She's playing mean and plays out of control.
And for a team that had already lost Sydney Colson, Ari McDonald, and of course Caitlin Clark, this moment felt like the last straw. The Fever were staring at a 21-point deficit in what was supposed to be a must-win game against the worst team in the league. Nothing was clicking. The offense was flat. The defense was rattled. The energy on the bench was lifeless. You could feel it through the screen. Fever Nation, and maybe even the team itself, looked ready to pack it in. It was as if the season had already been buried, with everyone quietly entering the acceptance phase of the grieving process. 9 games still left on the schedule, but hope, it seemed, was already gone. And then the Fever came alive. It didn't start with fireworks. It started quietly, almost like a flicker in the dark. A Kelsey Mitchell free throw, then a floater, then a three. In a low stance defensively, matched up with Mitchell. Fires up a three. Kelsey Mitchell. Suddenly, the body language shifted. The same shots that clanged off the rim in the first half started to drop. At the 5:37 mark, that 21-point hole was down to 14. By the end of the third quarter, the deficit had shrunk to 11. For the first time all night, the building started to buzz. You could feel the momentum tilting. Boston backs down Hartley. Aaliyah Boston. Excellent post position. The Suns still held the lead, but the Fever had cracked the door open, and Kelsey Mitchell was about to...
I thought, well, I wasted my day watching this game and going live for it. Then cue the end of the third quarter. The momentum shifted, and the Fever started chipping away at this enormous lead that the Connecticut Sun had on them. For the majority of the game, I would say that the lead was around 15, 16 points, and they got it down to 8 points, and Kelsey Mitchell started heating.
With the season hanging by a thread, Kelsey Mitchell caught fire. At the 8:38 mark, she drilled a three. Next possession, she attacked the rim, drew contact, and calmly sank her free throws. Suddenly, Connecticut's double-digit cushion was melting away. Then, like a spark spreading through dry grass, Lexi Hull joined the party. Wide open in the corner, she let it fly, splash. After weeks of brutal shooting struggles, she picked the perfect moment to deliver. In an instant, the Fever were alive. Howard, assertive, 2 foul shots. The crowd roared. The bench was on its feet. Every possession mattered now. Odyssey Sims transformed into a one-woman wrecking crew, fearlessly driving the lane, getting to the line again and again, stacking up 9 free throws on sheer aggression. Brianna Turner, who had barely been part of the rotation, checked in and delivered defensive minutes made of pure grit, finishing a plus 10 on the floor without scoring a single point. By the final minute of regulation, Kelsey Mitchell had dragged Indiana all the way back. The scoreboard read 84-84.
Tie game.
The impossible had become reality. Overtime. Stephanie White fist-pumped on the sideline. The Fever bench erupted like they had already won. The comeback was real. And overtime? Overtime belonged to Indiana. 20 seconds in, Kelsey Mitchell sliced to the rim for a layup. A minute later, bang, a three. Next trip down, bang again. Back-to-back daggers from deep. Mitchell wasn't just hot. She was volcanic. The Sun were rattled. Shots that had fallen all night suddenly rimmed out. Their passes grew hesitant, their shoulders tight. Meanwhile, Indiana smelled blood. And then came the moment. Brianna Turner drove hard to the rim, drew the defense, and kicked it to the corner. Lexi Hull rose, released, and buried it.
Swish. Dagger.
Fever up for good. Final score, 99-93. The largest comeback in franchise history.